This is Venezuela, rich country, people living in harmony, but unfortunately, now it collapsed. Venezuela financial crisis, a country that has the largest oil reserves that make up 17.5% of all oil reserves in the world, has got into financial crisis, a crisis that is much worse than the Great Depression. So, why and how it happened and what is the solution? I will explain to you shortly. But before that, what is hyperinflation? Hyperinflation is a rapid, excessive, and out of control price increase in economy, typically at the rate of 50% each month over time. So, did Venezuela face hyperinflation? Yes, and it is much worse. Since 2016 until 2019, the overall inflation rate is 53,798,500%. An overview of the crisis. It started from the over-dependent on oil economy plus high government spending started during the Chavez times. Then, during Maduro's time, he continued all the policies in place before, but now the crude oil price fall. The highly oil-dependent country faced a big trade deficit, as 95% of the GDP comes from oil. So, what option they had? Yes, print more money. Print a lot of money. That leads to hyperinflation. It lowers the currency value, and their creditor, especially the money issuer, didn't want to hold the Bolivar currency. Hence, Venezuela resorted to sell their monetary gold reserve to pay their loan. So now, let's get into the detail of the crisis. Reasons of the crisis. Number 1. High government spending. Hugo Chavez has been president of Venezuela from 1999 until 2013 due to cancer. Chavez and his administrations implemented social programs called the Bolivarian missions. The purpose was to improve living conditions of the poor by redistributing wealth and informing the way land was used. Chavez achieved a high degree of success with these programs. He reduced the rate of unemployment, poverty, and extreme poverty. Unfortunately, these programs came at high financial costs. The social programs were good for the people, but bad for the economy. Chavez spent more money on the social programs than the country could really afford. So, Chavez borrowed money from other countries to keep the programs going. Chavez had been warned about the growing fiscal deficit, but he didn't pay attention of the warning. For Chavez, what matters is these social programs were a way to win the heart of the people, so as to maintain his power. The worst situation is Chavez and his administrations failed to save money for future economic crisis. Reasons number 2. Low oil prices. Venezuela's economy is mainly based on selling only one commodity, oil. This means when the oil price was high, life of Venezuelans was good. Conversely, when oil price went low, life was bad, and this is what happened to Venezuelans starting in 2014. Oil price is cyclical. In June 2014, the price of oil started to go down from $100 per barrel to about $70, and the decline continued to low around $33 per barrel in early 2016. The government no longer able to subsidize basic goods and services for its people. When the oil price going down, the government had severe debt and did not have enough dollars to buy the food imports and medicine imports, and all the goods imported that it was buying before. The collapse of economic activity that started in 2014 worsened in 2015 and get worse and worse and worse thereafter. Reasons number 3. Continuing economic mismanagement. By April 2013, his successor Nicolas Maduro had won the presidency. In order to pay the debt, Nicolas Maduro simply print more money. Hyperinflation continues under Maduro because he is continuing the disastrous economic policies from the late President Chavez. Nicolas Maduro has simply not addressed any of the problems or the legacy that he inherited from the past President Chavez. They also continuing living the high life because they don't have to worry about going shopping every day, paying their bills. In early 2018, Maduro seemed to be in denial about Venezuela's hyperinflation. Rodrigo Cabeza, who is Hugo Chavez's former finance minister, said that Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has refused to recognize the country's hyperinflationary problems and has no plan towards it. Maduro tried to come up with some action in order to tackle this problem. Maduro has decided to play games with the value of Venezuela's dying bolivar, in a desperate effort to show to the citizen that hyperinflation is disappearing from this country. One of his plans was to slash 5 zeros from the prices. So, a product that cost 100,000 bolivar would now cost 1 bolivar, and give the currency a different name, sovereign bolivar. However, it does not fix the situation and make it worse than before. Effects of the crisis. Number 1. Hyperinflation. The annual inflation rate has increased from year to year from 2014. In 2014, the annual inflation rate is 69%. 2015, 181%. This is the highest in the country's history at that time. Next, in 2016, it has reached 800% annually, and in 2017, it has reached 4,000%. 2018, 1,700,000%, and as of April 2019, it has reached 282,900 something percent. Next, number 2, shortage. In 2014, the government could not supply enough money for medical supplies among healthcare providers, with doctors saying 9 out of 10 large hospitals has only 7% of required supplies. In 2015, only 35% of hospital beds were available, and 50% of operating rooms can operate because of lack of resources. In 2016, majority of Venezuelans were eating less and spending most of their incomes on food. Venezuelans' immune systems were also weakened due to the lack of food intake, while the lack of water also caused hygiene issues. Venezuela's over-reliance on imported medical products and professionals has contributed to shortage in healthcare, as has the brain drain due to the crisis in Venezuela. Shortages of antiretroviral medicines to treat HIV/AIDS affected about 50,000 Venezuelans, potentially causing thousands of them with HIV to develop AIDS. Number 3. Refugee crisis. According to UN Refugee Agency, around 4 million people have fled Venezuela amid political and economic uncertainty. Most of those living across into neighboring Colombia, some then moved on to Ecuador, Peru, and Chile. Others have gone south to Brazil. Solution to the crisis. Number 1. Make living affordable. They need to ensure the well-being of the people, so they need to give out food stamps and also ensure sufficient food and medicine supplies to all people. Number 2. Stabilize politics. They need to provide fair and democratic elections, and also to remove military involvement to shut the opposition. Number 3. Diversify economy. Venezuela needs to go away from its dependence on oil. It should start with the most basic needs, that is, food industry and agriculture. To support local business to save foundation, it needs protection like tariff to help them to compete with the imported goods. Venezuela has a lot of gold in their land, so right now, government are fighting with the illegal extraction of gold. It needs to be kept under control, as the gold can be a key to solve the currency issue. And also, Venezuela need to have privatization, as it can operate business more efficiently. Number 4. Stabilize currency. This is the most important steps. They need to stop printing money excessively, as that is one of the main reasons behind the hyperinflations. And also, they need to be established currency board and to peg their money to gold reserve. Venezuela should use its mounting gold reserve and its abundance in the land to make the currency like the case of Yugoslavia and Hungary before.